All right, it is January 6th, 2025. It's a new year. It's the first Monday of the year, and I am so glad to be back doing the Monday market update. I'm back in my home, which is wonderful. We started, it's just me. I started these Monday market updates in July of 2024, and we were not in our home then. And so I took a break during the holidays to get us back in here with my family and to just kind of get a restart on the year. And I am happy to be back doing these. So let's get right to it. I get a lot of my information that's not what I pull from the Austin MLS. I get it from podcast that I've mentioned before. It's BAMETS. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Apple. And they do a hot sheet Monday through Thursday for the nation. And I get a lot of great information from them. And so what I listened to today is our inventory nationally is still increasing. And they do it from week to week. So this week, in 2024, we've had a 27% increase. However, and this is what I've been talking to the people that ask me about the market, 40% of that 27% is Texas and Florida. So in the Northeast and other states, they're not seeing the uptick in inventory that we're seeing. They're still very low, and they are lower, much lower than they were in the year that they always compare us to, which is 2019. And that's not true for Texas and Florida. We have flipped to a buyer's market. Now, I'm not saying it's a terrible time to sell. It's not like it's way here, but we definitely in the nation have more inventory than the rest, and especially just Texas and Florida. So if you talk to a friend and they're like, or they watch a news video and said, we still don't have inventory, it's still a seller's market, that is not the case locally here in Texas. Now, what is our Bastrop County doing right now? I'm doing single family residences from Unlock MLS. And I want to say that last year, I didn't do this in January of last year. And I'll have to wait till those numbers come out completely from this whole month to compare a full January to January. We are down from any other month, meaning any other time I've done this, we have 578 active listings. But that's still higher than we were in 2024 in January. And I think a lot of people still do take their homes off the market in the holidays. I know there's a few in my office that did that. And I suspect we'll have more listings coming in January. But that's where we're at. We're at 578 active listings. And 563 active listings. I don't know where I got 578, but 563. The median price is $400,000. Median price per foot is $213, and median days on market is 110. So when I started these in July, we were always over 600 active listings for all of Bastrop County, and this is single family residences, Unlock MLS, and so it is a little bit down. Now let's look back to 2024. What happened in Bastrop County in 2024? We had a total, again, these are single family residences, and so they don't include condos, they don't include manufactured housing, they don't include townhomes. We don't really have condos in Bastrop County. We have a few townhomes. So keep that in mind. This is what Unlock MLS deems as single family residences. Unlock MLS is the MLS used by in Austin, and there's, as you may or may not know, there's several MLS sources. There's Houston Association of Realtors, there's a Central Texas MLS, and for these purposes, I'm using the one out of Austin, which is Unlock MLS. So back to it. In 2024, Bastrop County, our total single family sales were 1,345. And of those 1,345, 449 were new construction. So then I broke it down by area for review. If you haven't watched me before, there's a glare on my glasses. I'm in my house. I'm getting used to the lighting. So I'm sorry if it's distracting. I'll do better next week. We still have things in boxes. So let's break it down by the area. Those 1,345 sales in Bastrop County. BA, Bastrop. Of those, 547 were sold in BA. And of the 547 sold in BA in 2024, 120 of those were new construction. The median price of those homes sold, $365,000. Next, Bastrop West, that's commonly known as Cedar Creek. Those out of the 13 and 45 sales, 316 were sold in BW, and of those 316 sold, 82 were new construction. BW had a median sales price of $427,900. Next, we have Elgin, and out of those sales, the 1345, 343 of those sold were in Elgin, and of those, was interesting to me, 227 of those were new construction. So the majority of the sales, by far, in Elgin were new construction. Their median price was $319,900. Last, we have Smithville. Smithville is a smaller market. There were 99 sales total of those 1,345. 14 were new construction, and their median sales price was $358,600. So by far, Bastrop West had the highest median sales price. By far, the most sales were in Bastrop area. So that kind of gives you an idea. The other thing that people often ask me is how do sales work per quarter? So I thought it would be interesting to break down the total because I don't want to get too deep in numbers here. You can start, I want to give you good information. I want to give you numbers, but I also don't want to just go where you just kind of zone out. So I didn't break the quarters down by the areas, but I did break that total of 1,345 homes down by quarter. Because I do get asked, is there a bad time to sell your home? I think there's almost any time is a good time. It depends on your situation and it depends on things. I think sometimes if you list sooner in the year, you get a jump on the spring market. If you list towards the end of the year, you have less inventory. So if you kind of look at it that way, real estate, what I love about it is it kind of works its way, and depending on your situation and what your needs are, you can pretty much make it work. I will tell you, the best day to go on the market is when you're ready. And by ready, I mean everything's ready, your house is picture perfect, and because you never get a second chance in real estate to make a first impression, I guess you never get a second chance in general to make a first impression, but that is the best day. So that would be my best advice to you. Be 100% ready when you do go on the market, no matter what time of year it is. So back to the numbers. Of those 1,345 sales in Bastrop County, in the first quarter, there was 302 sales. In the second quarter, there was 379 sales. In the third quarter, there was 337 sales. And in the fourth quarter, there was 321 sales. Every one of those numbers was over 300. Now, granted, the least amount was in the first quarter with 302, and the most was in the second quarter, which second quarter is known to be the most popular quarter in real estate, and that was 379. So there was well over 70 more sales from the first to the second quarter. And then the third and fourth were real similar, with 337 in the third and the fourth 321. So when I look at those numbers, I do see that any time really is a good time. And there's a lot of factors to that, but I was kind of impressed that they were all within, 70 something was the biggest difference between the quarters. I want to encourage you to send me a message about or comment when I post this on what you would like to see on the Monday market update. I've done neighborhoods, I've done state, comparisons of the cities within Texas. I've done more national, I've done more breaking down things, and I just want to keep it interesting for you as well as informative. And I thank you for joining me on the first Monday market update of the year. Thank you for following, and all those that are watching me right now. I'm waving at you. Thank you. And I will see you next Monday. Have a great one. Happy New Year. I hope you all have a blessed 2025, and I'm looking forward to it. I think there's going to be some great things happening. So see you next Monday.